Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Longboard Blues, 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing games, and sometimes friends. But Longboard Blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Longboards Post 1975, and would you look at this? It's a driving vlog. I haven't done a driving vlog in probably the best parts of a year. Probably mainly so because a large chunk of that year was lockdown, and even though I worked the entirety of lockdown, didn't really, since I had to drive to work and stuff like that, and I was like, one of the few people on the roads, really draw attention to myself. Like, look at that bloke talking to himself, and why is he going about his business while we're during a lockdown? But I didn't realise that people had missed them. Quite surprised by that. So I thought I'd do a driving vlog. I've just finished work. Well, that's not entirely true. I'm running late because I had a Greggs. Bacon roll, and I've still got bacon and cheese wrap to go. Then I dropped my buddy home, and then where you saw me pulled over, I just realised it was bollocks. I forgot to buy a newspaper. And see, here's one of the things. I know you can read, newspapers online and for free, save yourself a whopping 65p. But I enjoy the physical act of reading a newspaper. So I still buy. I'll go on then, only because I'm nice. So I still, I still buy a newspaper, still enjoy it. But what do I want to talk about now that I'm actually going to get to the point? I put up on Facebook yesterday, and it's the responses I got to the comment that made me think, since my audiences, are different. There's crossover, but I have different audiences on Facebook. I know it's not. Well, it is a video sharing site to some degree. Yeah, different audiences on Facebook than I do on YouTube, and a bigger audience on YouTube, to be fair. So I thought it would be interesting to do something along the lines. But what I put up on Facebook was, we celebrate the anniversary of consoles, and that's all well and good. But isn't it more fun to celebrate your anniversary of that console? And while I mean there probably is a large chunk of us who bought these systems upon launch or thereabout, or at least in the first year, there are a great many other people, dependent upon their age and other factors such as how wealthy they were, I guess how wealthy their family was, so it factors into Christmas and birthdays and things like that, who won't have got them. And by that I mean someone could have got a SNES as their first console, when Nintendo's then current console was the N64, and not even know the N64 exists. So therefore their anniversary of the SNES would be 1995. Like I said, it's age specific, and I find that interesting. And by that I don't mean that obviously, well, retro collectors. So I got this, I got into retro games because I never experienced them the first time round, and then bought pretty much every system out there. I mean, when these were genuinely your only system, and it was years after. That's when no one likes cyclists, no offense cyclists, generally, after the system came out. So I'm going to go through a bunch of mine, but I really genuinely would like to know when, my audience, assuming anyone actually thinks this is something worth talking about, when you got these systems, when your anniversary. I'm not detracting from the fact that, like it's the Dreamcast's 30th anniversary this year. I'm not detracting from the fact that the actual anniversary of the console is not a date without substance, or important in the history of, that company and stuff like that. And quite a lot of my, early systems, consoles, I got, roundabout launch. But like I said, it's something I want to talk about, and I do really look forward to hopefully getting some comments on this. But I mean, everyone, and I repeat a lot of this stuff dependent upon the videos you've watched with me and things like that. I mean, and hell, if you listen to some of Mainmeister Alan's Friday waffles and stuff, I give away my history of the ZX Spectrum. you know, in his you know, his waffle he did to, you know, dedicated to Sir Clive Sinclair, because I was on the Friday and he asked me to, knowing I was a Spectrum fan, the week that he sadly passed away. But yeah, I got my first computer. Also, something else, sorry, I will get to the point. You got to remember, in each you know, year of your life, you are actually 2 different ages. So, you know, I'm going to try and keep as best a memory I can, but discrepancies here or there will probably be a year or so. And also, to stop me feeling old, I might round the year up, maybe down, I don't know, I'll surprise you. But obviously, 1982, the launch of the ZX Spectrum 16K and 48K, we had a 48K. I would have been 7. That was a phenomenal impact upon me, because it was the first proper system. Played, you know, a Binatone Pong machine, borrowed a neighbour's 2600, played a BBC Micro at school. But that was our first computer, bought to us by our dad, and it brought home our love of arcades, albeit in somewhat different variants of quality in form, I would say. But I was 7. I was extremely young, but I was certainly of an age where it would leave an impression on me. And it certainly did. And also, this is what I mean about, you know, we got that the year of launch. But I know some people who were getting like ZX Spectrum +2s and 3s, which is obviously Amstrad's machine. I just realised there's a bunch of shit in my footwell, in case you hear any clanging noise. And you might hear a pinch of my exhaust, because I think I might have a teensy weensy hole. But yeah, I knew people who got +2s and +3s, you know, ZX Spectrums, when sort of around about the time the Master System came out. It was still a relevant machine. It was still a lot of people's first machine, for anywhere up to, you know, probably pushing the end of the decade, when it was, you know, its time was almost up. But yeah, so I was 7. Then the next system, so obviously Spectrum year of launch, my system was the Master System, which I believe was the year of launch, at least in the United Kingdom, was 1986, and I saved half of it. My parents, you know, because they wanted to teach me the value of money. Talked about this before, but hey, that's an important thing to do for kids, and I think I'm very grateful that they did. Yeah, the year of launch, 86. I got it in 86. Would have been right towards the end of 86 at Christmas. I got it for Christmas. I paid for half of it. Second hand, came with a bunch of games. Pretty reasonable price, actually. I can't exactly remember what it was, but I certainly, you know, wasn't losing any sleep over paying that for it. Check it out, dude, you're speeding and you're caught on camera. Yeah, so I don't know why I got so cheap, but it was the end, you know, the end of, you know, the year of its launch, and that thing was phenomenally successful and popular in this country. I mean, as I talk about my NES, you know, nostalgic memories. NES? What's a NES? No one had a NES. It was all about the Sega Master System. And so yeah, I got that year of launch, and then because I had loads of part-time jobs, so look up my nostalgic memories of Saturday jobs video, and you'll see what I mean. I earned a mint back then. So then, obviously, being a Sega fanboy in the arcades and having a Sega Master System, 2 years later, the launch of the Mega Drive in Japan, 1988. Obviously, it wasn't actually that successful in Japan. I got that the year of launch, very late in the year of launch, but I paid for the entirety of it myself because of all the part-time jobs I had, and that was fantastic, and I lived like a god that year, because I was the only person who had a Mega Drive for at least a year, pushing 2. Obviously it was the end of it when I got it, before it came out in the United Kingdom, and people didn't import shit from America back then, so that, you know, there weren't Genesises or Genocide. Sorry, I just always wanted to say that. You know, knocking around. But again, and the Master System was a lot of people's first system. When the Mega Drive came out officially, parents didn't want to spend that much money, or, you know, didn't understand how much a big leap it was over the Master System. So, you know, you can have a Master System, you can have a Master System 2, super cheap, loads and loads and loads of games. So this is what I mean about your first time with that system. So obviously the Mega Drive is, what, 30 years old, 32, 31 years old, but people would have, to them, their anniversary of it would probably be like, you know, only 25. Then I got a Super Famicom, which what was the year of launch on that? My God, I rinsed through systems. My year, the year of launch of that was 1990 in Japan, I believe, very late 1990. By all means, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, once again, got the system at launch, got a bunch of games with it. I've mentioned that in my nostalgia. You can pretty much kind of, if you want to know more about these individual systems, then look up any of my nostalgic memories of videos in that playlist. So yeah, had that, got that. That took to 91 in the US. I bought games for it in the US when we were on holiday in Boston visiting my dad's brother, my uncle Andrew. But I loved that. I played the shit out of it. I was a two-system boy for ages. I lived like a king. But what was it? The next one? Yeah, I mean that's another one. People, like I said, lots of people I knew, particularly younger ones, and age is another sort of factor that kind of relates to this, which is parents probably didn't buy you or give their kids the latest system. They probably would have given me hand-me-downs from their brothers and stuff like that. So the SNES was a lot of people's first system years after its launch. Like I said, I know people were getting it when the N64 first came out. Did that mean the system was dead? No, it wasn't. Nintendo supported the balls out of that system. A little bit of heat here, getting a bit cold. But my next system, 1994, Japanese PlayStation, 450 quid, don't know what that is adjusted for inflation now, paying 75 pop a game before I realised you could just swap when the English games eventually came out in 95. But yeah, so Japanese launch 94, I had it in 94, paid a fucking premium for it, I don't mind telling you. But everywhere else came out in 1995, and obviously when it came out in the UK, it was a shit, butchered, horrible 50Hz PAL version. So the extra money I spent on my Japanese one didn't seem such, through the roof bill then, although I think it was still getting up there. Was it 299 quid officially for the shit PAL one? But that's another system. I knew loads of people that, again, hand-me-down age money, because obviously the redesigned PS1 was out when the PlayStation 2 was out, and the PlayStation was, supported for years. So I had it launched in 94. Lots of people were still getting that as their first system, whether it was a hand-me-down or the PS1 with that wicked screen, which I saw the CX once, and to this day, all regret not buying. So do you see what I mean here? The discrepancies. And that's why I think this is an interesting question. Yeah, so but I got PlayStation 2, year launch 2000, that incredibly ballsed up launch. I got one on pre-order, very exciting time. Loads of people didn't get that for a couple of years because it was very, very expensive, quite difficult to get for a year or so. Never had a Dreamcast, can't really talk about that. My brother Jason did, don't think he had too much trouble getting it roundabout launch. But then obviously PlayStation 2 was the last console I had before I went to Canada for 4 years to work and stuff like that. So it's interesting because I bought PlayStation 2 again when I was over there. So when I came back to the United Kingdom, and that would have been when the Wii was coming out, obviously you weren't going to get one for love or money, but so I bought GameCube because I wanted a system to play. GameCube games were super, super cheap back then. So obviously that was a 2001 system. I bought mine in 2006, 2007, because I didn't want to play a PlayStation 2 again. I don't know anyone who had a GameCube back in the day, apart from one of my mates in the office in Montreal did. Everyone else had PlayStation 2s. And then, so after that, I bought Wii, bought that a year or so after launch, which even then was quite impressive. People didn't get those for years. Absolutely years. And I remember people getting hand-me-downs and stuff like that, like, well into the start of the 8th generation. I guess the motion controls meant it, it stuck around for a bit. After that, my next new console would have been a 360, which I bought in 2009, but obviously that was launched in 2005. That would be its anniversary. What is it now, 16, 17 years? I still think it looks phenomenal. But yeah, so I bought that 4 years after it came out. I do remember being when its launch was in 2005, and I was in the Bay in Canada, next to my office in downtown Montreal, and they had them in glass cases, you know, like a month or so before their launch. And I do remember, whilst all looking at it and just going, it's so fucking big and it's so fucking ugly. So anyway, that's just a quick brief history. This video isn't about that, but I wanted to set you some, you know, dates and times. But basically, yeah, it's kind of interesting that, you know, we all celebrate, you know, the anniversary of a console. It's a big deal. It's all over social media and stuff like that. Companies make big deals of it. We get mini systems, like in Sega's case. I said it before and I say it again. This is the stupidest fucking chicane ever that was introduced in a place you simply could not, you know, speed if you wanted to. Neither of you can see who's coming the other way, and they'd say, well, that's to make you slow down. No, it just creates a bottleneck, you idiot, and builds up traffic. Anyway, sorry, this isn't about that. So people, I am rusty at driving vlogs. People, you know, companies, sorry, they celebrate these anniversaries and we all take them as big deals, but ultimately it's not really that specifically an important date to you unless you got it on launch or round about launch. And how many people do that? I mean, I guess I do need to fix my exhaust. I'm one of the very, very lucky ones with the fact that I had so many part-time, I say lucky, sacrificed my weekends, but you know, I had funds so I could get these systems, but lots of people didn't, and lots of people grew up years afterwards. And that's why it's funny if you see the comments on my Facebook post when someone put the first 4 systems that I mentioned and just put wasn't born yet. You know, didn't put their age, but wasn't born. You looked, wasn't born yet, wasn't born yet, wasn't born there, and that's why I thought it'd be kind of funny, because you know, the general demographic for my audience on YouTube is sort of mid 20s to, you know, round about my age. So it would be, you know, very interesting to see what, you know, when the anniversary is of a system that you loved. Does anyone actually fucking realise when the traffic light goes green that's when you move, and suddenly, instead of sitting there, you're just going, oh fuck, the traffic light's gone green, handbrake off, gear in. Sorry, complaints, it's a driving vlog. But yeah, you know, so I just genuinely would like to know what people's anniversaries are of their favourite systems, most important systems, you know, in their life, or when they were growing up, because, like I said, possibly they won't be, realistically so I should say, the same as when it came out. Anyway, as always, I really would love to know what you think, especially on this topic. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.